So is this thing on? I don't know, man.
I don't think we should start out with, is this thing on?
I don't know. Well, that doesn't have to be in it.
No, that's... Oh, man.
I just started talking.
Yeah, we guess we did.
Yeah.
So...
What's new with you, Abe?
I thought we were doing an intro before we did this.
What intro?
Like, saying hello again, like usual.
Oh, yeah, well, we could do it right now.
Hello.
Hey, what's up? I'm Ralph.
There you go, we said hello. And welcome back to the podcast. It's been lonely without you.
Yes, indeed it has.
How's it going, Nigel? How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well. And yourself, Preston? I don't know.
Okay, Preston.
I had to come up with some Britishy sounding name. I'm not sure if that cut it, though.
I don't think Preston's a British...
It sounds more like, upper crust New England-y to me, rather than British.
I was thinking more Canadian.
I could go with that, sure. Sure.
Nigel is like super British.
That's super British, yeah, totally. But you just can't top Nigel.
There's no top.
Nope.
Unless you go with some name from the 1800s in Victorian times.
Yeah, but I can't. They escape me.
The only ones I think about are because I was watching How I Met Your Mother, and the main character Ted, he starts to act like a British cricket player that hates his own life apparently, and he calls himself Emsbury.
Emsbury,
yeah.
Okay, that's a first. That's a first.
Yeah. It's some weird names, man.
Speaking of weird names, actually, I have nothing
very
related to weird names.
Very big leap, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of popular things,
there you go. Popular things.
Yeah. So you. Going on a serious topic, you went to the symphony, right?
The Legend of Zelda Symphony.
There you go. I forgot what it was called for a minute.
Yeah, no, it's called. No, it has. That's not the official name. The actual name is Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses.
How was that?
It was pretty awesome. This symphony, for those listeners who may not know, they started doing this back in 2011, 2012-ish, around the time that the Zelda game for the Wii came out, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. It had something to do with the fact that was the first Zelda game that did not have just computer-generated music, not just MIDI music. It had an actual orchestra record for the game music. And I guess they took advantage of that and they created this international orchestra, symphony orchestra tour. Because I know that I know for a fact that they've been in Mexico and the U.S., of course. I want to say also Canada. I could have sworn I saw some dates in different parts of Ontario, and I know the city of Toronto got it at some point, I believe. But it's definitely an international symphony tour, and they came to Denver this week that just passed, and I was able to watch the performance. I say watch because they had. You listen to it, of course, it's a symphony, but they have these big screens above the orchestra where they have a game footage that's timed perfectly with the music. And
nice.
It's an awesome experience because, you watch, you listen to the music that, you might have heard in the games, even the really old ones, the first Legend of Zelda games, but just played with an orchestra. It's incredible. I recommend it to anybody who has not gone, even if you're not like the symphony type, quote unquote, if there is such a thing. Because I certainly had never gone to a symphony, but of course I'm a big Zelda fan, so I went to this one, and it was worth it. And there was people there that had been there before, because this is not the first time it's been in Denver. I'm pretty sure it's been here before. But yeah, that's what I did this week.
That's what you did this week.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. And I got a lot of swag.
Just posters? Or
I got a poster. I got a Legend of Zelda Symphony of the Goddesses poster. I got a t-shirt and a program, which gives you a bio on, the composer, Koji Kondo, and also the Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of the game, and then they have Eiji Aonuma, the producer, and they have like little bios for them, and then it's got a listing of all the Zelda games. And I mean, when you look at it, it doesn't look like much. It looks like it would be free, but they charge you $10 for that little thing. Because it's like
Nintendo's been known to like just
take
money.
Yeah, I mean, and really, it's our fault, as gamers that love Nintendo.
You will buy.
We're like, shut up and take my money. That's what happened. But it was great. I recommend it. And and if you're on this continent, you have no excuse because it's international. So you could be in Canada, Mexico, or the U.S. and you will have an opportunity. So.
Nice.
So that's what I have to say about that.
Well, I mean, in other Nintendo-related news, Pokemon Go has swept the nation. Well, not the world.
The freaking world. Yeah, I got friends in Mexico playing that.
Yeah, it's become a part of daily life.
Yeah, it's like, I think society as a whole is adjusting to it. So many things have happened.
Yeah.
So many misunderstandings or just funny events, and also a lot of positive things, because I read an article that, sort of spelled out the fact that, what we've all been seeing, but, it really made me realize that it's happening, that because of this game, complete strangers are talking to each other and getting to know each other. And,
in some cases,
in the best of cases.
I was at a Pokestop, I think 3 days ago, and there were like 2 other people there, and they were just awkward as hell.
Well, these are like people who probably haven't left their house in several years.
One of them was in a soccer team.
Well, it's a stereotype, though, that, I heard one of my friends posted a meme that was like, in the movie The Matrix, when Neo wakes up for the first time, and he's like, how come my eyes hurt? And Morpheus is there to say, you've never used them before. Well, they changed the wording in this meme, and it's like, my legs, why do they hurt so much? And he's like, because you've never used them before. That was like about Pokemon Go players that, never go out and get exercise, quote unquote, whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, with all good things, it always draws out the idiots.
Yes, indeed.
And then it's because of them that we lose things. But I don't think we're going to lose any Pokemon because of them. There was that one girl, though, that decided to go onto the highway.
And she got hit by a car, right?
Yeah, and she blamed Pokemon.
Yeah, no, she actually said those words. Like, I think the reporter asked her, it was in some, 6 o'clock news show in some city, and the reporter asked her, do you blame the app? And she's like, oh yes, I blame the app. If it wasn't for the app, I would not have run into the middle of the street.
That's just stupid.
How about if it wasn't for your stupidity, you wouldn't have run into the middle of the street?
Hashtag common sense.
No shit. But,
this reminds me of a story that I read, I think, a year ago, where a cheese truck flipped over, and the cops had to show up literally to tell people to not eat the cheese off the floor.
Are you serious?
I'm totally serious. It was the dumbest thing ever. I thought it was a joke, and then I did some more research. It was not a joke.
Wow.
People had to be told, don't eat the cheese off the floor.
Yeah. Well, maybe they were counting on the 5-second rule, but my guess is that it had been way past that.
Pretty sure. Man, a cheese truck flips over and everyone just starts to eat cheese off the road.
Yeah, that's just kind of messed up.
Pretty messed up. Very dumb.
But I heard some kids got shot at. I told you a little bit about this a minute ago, but some kids were Pokemon, and I say kids, they were probably high schoolers, I think.
Probably.
And they were hunting Pokemon at 1 a.m. And they ended up in front of some guy's house, and this guy was woken up by the sounds they were making. And apparently he claims that he heard them say something like, did you get it? Yeah, I got it. And I guess he thought that they were stealing stuff or something. So this guy's a gun owner. He pulls out his gun, steps outside and tells them to raise their hands. And I think they just got freaked out, jumped in their car and sped off, and he shot at their car. They didn't get shot. They got shot at, and the car got shot at. And that's how they found out the next day, that because of the bullet holes, because they thought that the guy was maybe shooting up into the sky or something to scare them.
Yeah.
But yeah, a gun.
Yeah.
People getting shot at. What the hell?
People think we need guns in the home. No, we don't. Idiots like this, no, we don't. We really don't.
Well, definitely not people like that,
I know, but then how are you going to know what people, think about it. There are other countries that don't have, they don't allow their citizens to have guns, and they have less crime, considerably less crime.
Well, that's true. If you go, I mean, the statistics do definitely point to that. That's undeniable. I know that in Australia, for example, I don't know all the details. You can look them up on Wikipedia or somewhere. But there was this guy that perpetrated a mass shooting in some kind of a safari park, or it was a something. I don't know if it was like a Disneyland type place, but it was a place with tons of families and kids. And this guy goes to this park. This happened in the 80s, I think, or late 70s. And he just goes in and just, shoots at a bunch of people. It was like the worst massacre in Australian history. When that happened, there was like this huge, shockwave throughout Australian society. And the government initiated this program where you had to, take your guns to the government, turn them in. I don't know if you got money for them or what they did, but it was just this large scale campaign, to disarm people. Yeah. But the entire population, that was the idea. But most people were gung ho with it. They were like, yeah, let's do this. Mm-hmm. They did it. And since then, their crime rates have been lower.
Yeah.
Or murder rates at least, Yeah. You go to a place like, the UK, where I think you can own a gun there, but it's super hard. And, sometimes you have a lot of assaults, perpetrated by an attacker with a knife. So there's knife violence, but more people survive that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's a fact. A lot of people in this country, though, think that, we're a different society and disarming people, is not going to work. But
no, that's not true. If you know how to disarm somebody, you are set. I mean, it's not like in America people are robots that can't be disarmed.
Well,
it's the same thing anyway.
Thing is, but my impression, though, what I think the point that people make is, well, for Australia, my understanding of the way this happened is that most of society was in favor of doing this. Mm-hmm. The thing is that no matter how ugly things get in this country, there's always a significant vocal portion of society that, is like, okay, this happened, it sucks, but I still want my gun. Mm-hmm. And apparently they're more vocal than, I guess, their counterparts in Australia, for instance, because they also kind of had, because, they have this outback culture and they don't have cowboys in the same sense as we do, but it's still very similar. They did have a gun culture, but somehow this changed their society. Yeah. But I guess the things that have happened here have not been enough. I don't know.
I think it's like one of those things where it's like, how America is probably one of the younger countries to exist right now.
I mean, there's certainly younger ones, but we're not the oldest, that's for sure.
No, like I said, it's like we're one of the younger ones.
Yeah.
I think if you try to put it into like human terms, I guess, I think America is going through those rebellious teenage years.
I guess you could say that. I never thought of it that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
Everything here is super divided. Nobody can agree on just most of anything.
Yeah.
So everything here is just super fucking divided, and it's like one of those things where it's like, it makes me feel like America's a teenager. And then we make fun of Canada a lot because they got their shit together. But I mean, Canada's probably like our older sister or something.
But the thing with Canada is that they never broke from the UK the same way we did.
Yeah, no.
So I guess they're roughly the same age as we are as a country, but their development as a nation has been very different. It's been, my impression is just that it's just been way more, I guess, parallel with the UK in some ways. Yeah. I mean, just because they've been closer to them, so it just seems like they have a lot more in common, and therefore, yeah, I don't know. It is a different society.
Yeah,
Canada is.
Yeah, but I mean, another thing here is everything's just starting to get way out of hand. Here in the U.S.
Yeah.
With all the massive killings and then people starting movements like Black Lives Matter, and I totally understand why they started it. It's something that has to be put up into the attention of the media and stuff. Like, oh yeah, people are getting killed. You gotta
I think it's sad that we even have to have a movement like that at this point in our society. I mean, after the civil rights movement, we're still dealing with this, really?
And I think it's even sadder when they made the All Lives Matter movement just to put them down, to put black down.
It's just dismissing their
their main point.
Exactly. It's dismissing the main issue that they have.
Yeah.
Which is of course all lives matter, but that should be a given. You shouldn't have to say that. That's obvious. But right now, the focus is on African Americans.
Yeah, and the one thing that's happening most all around the U.S. But then the thing that it gets to me is when they started the Blue Lives Matter because of the sniper that took down those cops.
Right.
You could see the witnesses when they were giving their testimonies to what happened, what they saw. It's people of all ages, of all colors, of all sizes. It's all of them just coming together and just saying what they saw, and what they saw was really gruesome. One of the guys that gets interviewed, he says that he saw the sniper stand over the cop and shoot him 3 or 4 more times. It was a total execution just because this person hated cops. And it's
which is also messed up.
Yeah, and people started the Blue Lives Matter for these guys, because they were doing what they could to keep people protected, and they didn't ask for all this backlash towards them, but they got it because they wore the uniform.
Yeah.
And because of that, when they started the Blue Lives Matter, everyone was like, "No, cops don't matter." And it's okay, come on.
That's not true either. Yeah.
if you're gonna fight for something, fight for the right thing.
Exactly.
It's what's the guy's name from the show you were talking about?
Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah.
The Daily Show. Yeah. I mean, I think he's had the most intelligent comment on this whole issue. Just after seeing everything that's happened. I mean, he said, I'm paraphrasing here, but he just said, of course, Black Lives Matter. Of course, Blue Lives Matter. The thing is that it shouldn't be an either or. I mean, both matter essentially. You should be pro-black and pro-cop. I mean, they should not be, opposed to each other.
Yeah, I think one of the things, I remember him saying that, being pro-black doesn't mean you're anti-cop.
Exactly.
And being anti-cop.
Exactly. I mean, and being pro-black here, I mean, it just means you're pro, black people not getting, what do you call it, racially profiled or just unfairly targeted.
Yeah.
And, that's what it means to be pro-black, which really means, let's have a more equal society.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it was, and of course the same thing happens with Hispanics too. I mean, they have, higher incarceration and apprehension rates than white people.
The same thing has been happening to Hispanics as has been happening to black folks. But I mean, nobody's really putting any emphasis on it too much. There's no real movement towards it.
Well, yeah. At least my impression is that right now it's a more severe problem, with African Americans. But
yeah, I mean, this year alone, I was looking at some of the statistics, and this year alone, 88 Hispanics have been killed unjustly because of cops at traffic stops, and nobody's talked about it. And that kind of got to me because it's okay, everyone's fighting pro-black, pro-cop, pro-life, whatever. But at the same time, it's maybe if we can get people to see that the Black Lives Matter movement has, it matters, and stop getting people to put it down, with the All Lives Matter movement and the Klan, the KKK doing their shit.
They're doing a thing?
They're doing stuff, yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I did read recently that they're actively recruiting right now and that their numbers are up.
Yeah, and they're saying that they're not the violent type anymore, quote unquote violent type. But they interviewed two of the people that were doing their recruiting. One of them, they sat him down, and he says that he's willing to give up a piece, a state of the U.S. for all the people that are black, because in his words, he said that he feels that they evolved from animals.
Oh my God! And
that they need to be separated as such. And I'm just that's the most stupid way of thinking.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. It's stupid.
No. I mean that's. Oh my gosh! I can't believe that people are still saying these things in 2016.
I know we made great progress with the gay movement. We made great. God damn it! We made great progress with marriage equality, and that's about it.
Well, I mean,
and Pokemon movement.
And the Pokemon movement, of course. Let's not forget the Pokemon movement.
the cause of the trainer will always be remembered in history. The day 2016. Yeah, no, I mean, it's stupid. It's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's super irritating, and I've always had the philosophy where, like, you could talk about it all you want, and you can complain about it all you want, but it's not until you do something that you're actually going to make any difference.
Mm-hmm.
But it's one of those things where it's like, if you do something, you're going to get targeted, and it puts fear into people.
Right.
And, you know, now you don't even know if you could trust the cop that's there and he's saying that he's there to protect you. You don't know if you can trust him or not. Like, I've always lived through life believing, you know, give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But now so many people out in the streets are scared, and then these presidential candidates aren't really helping with anything. One of them is a liar. The other one is manipulative. And so people are just walking around toting guns. Some of them in a uniform that you were raised to respect and to always look for when danger comes around. Yeah. But now, like, what do you do? Like, when the cops turn on you, what do you do? When the people, everyone outside has a gun.
Now, I would say by and large, though, you know, most cops are, you know, good cops. Yeah. You know, but there's a few bad apples out there.
Yeah, and it's because of those bad apples that it incites fear.
Exactly. But now, there is another thing I wanted to point out. I saw, you see, I don't know what the show was called, but there was a talk show where they interviewed a bunch of cops, but a bunch of cops who were all minorities. They were all minority cops.
I saw that.
And they were basically asked, you know, how much truth is there to racially profiling people? And is it true that you have quotas to meet and, you know, you have to stop a certain number of Hispanic people or black people? And I mean, I don't remember, you know, what all the details were, but the consensus was that what the department would tell them to do, it basically, you know, it was racial profiling, essentially. Yeah. Like, you know, here's like a Hispanic cop saying, yeah, I mean, I have to just stop all the black and Hispanic people, or I have to focus more on stopping them than other people. Like, they were just, you know, confirming what we already suspected, that, you know, and they were saying, you know, we hate it. We hate that that's what it is. But, you know, and I don't know that they were saying that the policies were explicitly that, but they were still rigged in such a way that that's what they ended up being, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And then apparently it's true that they do have a quota for tickets that they have to hand out.
Right.
And I remember one of them, I forgot which one it was, but one of them said that when they can't meet that quota, they just look for somebody that looks like they're an illegal immigrant, and they pull them over, and then they just give them whatever they can. For most, it's usually like driving without a license or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's hard, because it's like, for me, that hits home really close, because I have a lot of family that their jobs involve, you know, driving. You know, and just in general, you have to drive to places to, like, you know, get food, get clothes, get supplies. And the idea that you could just get pulled over for trying to survive in the world.
Yeah.
And then getting a ticket, or maybe even getting killed just for trying to survive. That's like a stupid thing. And just, I don't know.
But yeah, it's the world we live in right now.
It's so amazing. Half is split on Pokemon, the other half is split on racial.
Yeah, it's like if you go on Facebook, that's all it is. It's either, you know, race things and you know, Black Lives Matter and all that, or Pokemon. I mean, it's just what a time to be alive in, you know? Yeah. It's just crazy.
Some people are actually saying that we might already be in World War III.
Well, you know, maybe, you know, it's just a different kind of war now. You know, if we're talking about terrorism anyway, like what happened in France this week. Yeah. You know, that was really messed up. That
guy that plowed through people.
Yeah, he just plowed through people that were in, you know, their equivalent of like our 4th of July. They were just out to watch fireworks, because they were having Bastille Day. Mm-hmm. And a lot of young people, you know, were murdered, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, all kinds of people, but, you know, it just gets me when, you know, it's like these families and their kids, you know, getting it. I mean, it's just terrible.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, at this point, we can't, you know, go out and, like, talk some sense into everybody in the whole world. What we can do is just, you know, speak out for what we believe in, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, just hoping that people like hear it and then hoping that it hits home with them because, you know, I'm pretty sure everybody has family members that they care about. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure everybody has somebody or something that like fills them with like, you know, energy and motivation to go through the day. You know, just think about like them being in that situation. If you were in France that day, if you were in any of those terrorist attacks at that point, think about it if it was you or somebody you care about in that situation.
Yeah.
What would happen next? Like with the shootings and stuff, I'm pretty sure the people that survive those and the bombings and stuff, they have like survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that follows you your whole life.
Yeah, and then for other people to like just come and like, you know, put them down for stuff that they have no control over. And on top of their survivor's guilt. And that's not going to end well.
Yeah, no, definitely. But anyway, that's the world we live in right now, you know. So at the very least, people just try and just don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be crazy. I don't know.
Just don't be a dick. Yeah, well, I don't know, man. How do you move on from that, like from that topic?
I want to talk about something a little more, you know, not as grim.
Okay.
You know, I was really close this week, and I told you about it a few days ago. Mm-hmm. So totally switching gears here, folks. You know, just something more akin to the. This is more geeky stuff, I guess, but I was this close to buying an Xbox One.
Why didn't you?
Well, first of all, I was this close because I got this offer that it was a refurb model, Microsoft certified refurb model of an Xbox One. It was $200. $200. 3 games.
And why didn't you?
Oh, man, I already spent. The thing is that my wife would kill me if she found out that I just went out and bought a game console while she was out. My wife's out on vacation right now. I had to unfortunately stay back and work. But yeah, like if I make a big purchase like that, she would just kill me.
Did you buy a game capture thing?
But you see, that's okay. I did that, but that's because I'm really, you know, I'm really focused right now on doing this game streaming deal and, you know, gameplay footage recording that we've used, you know, for No Way, Seaway. And, so that's a project that, you know, that I've had, you know, just doing more things with media. And to me, I could justify that, you know, hey, I spent money on this device because, I want to venture into, you know, media and do something with this. You know, and granted, I could have somehow leveraged the Xbox purchase, you know, into that because I'm doing the, you know, the game streaming deal. But it's like, I feel in a way that I can't justify it just yet until I can find a certain level of success with what I have now. It's just buying too many things too fast. Yeah. Even if it was a great deal. But
here's the thing.
I'm still kind of kicking myself for it because now they're all out. I was checking it the last few days, and they're all they were available for like 3 days, and you didn't buy one, and I didn't buy one because
Jesus Christ,
she was like, "Don't do it," because I had to tell her because it's like I felt guilty, man. you won't know what this is like till you get married.
Buyer's guilt. Damn.
But
brand new, you said.
No, it was refurbished.
Oh, okay.
You see, but what?
It's basically
it's okay. It was refurbished by Microsoft, and Microsoft certified. You get a 90-day warranty, not 30-day like you do at game stores. You know, it was a 90-day warranty. So I was feeling. If I had bought it, I would have felt pretty good about it. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I just decided not to in the last minute. But,
yeah, either way, it's Xbox.
You know, but and that's another thing. I really wanted a PS4.
Yeah, PS4 is way better.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to have. I kind of get the sense that there's a lot more horror games or more experimental games on it, and I really dig those kinds of games. So yeah,
horror games are the best.
Oh yeah, no, I love them.
What's that one? There was this one game, Until Dawn. Have you played that one?
No, but I know which one you're talking about. I want to play it.
It's that game that just has like a bunch of like horror movie cliches.
Yeah, but you're living through them though. It's like you make decisions. Like, you
based
create
on
your
your
own
decisions, it depends on whether all the characters survive or if like you can only manage to keep one alive.
Right.
And then they just have to survive until dawn.
Yeah.
Like the title says.
Indeed. And they're making a Friday the 13th game.
Are they?
I don't know if it's... In this one, I don't know if it's both on PS4 and Xbox One or if it's just on PS4. But there's a Friday the 13th game where you're Jason. You play as Jason.
I did hear about that, yeah.
And you have to... And you get... It's like you get points for like... the point of the game is to obviously just, kill all the campers.
Mm-hmm. That's mainly what it is.
Yeah, but the point is that if you scare a camper, like there's like a fear meter, and if their fear meter is like maxed out, like you could just pop up out of nowhere and freak them out, or just walk by a window and have them see you. That'll freak them out. That'll get their fear meter up, and then if you kill them after that, once it's up, it's like you get more points. So you get to be the slasher,
and you can make it as creepy as possible.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, I think if people record this game, we'll find out who really is like capable of being a psychopath.
I was thinking about that. That's actually kind of scary to think of the fact that, here's a game that, is just about killing these campers. It's based on a cheesy horror film.
And that was based on a semi-true story.
Okay. Really?
Kind of.
Can't remember. Well, I can see that, but they embellish this stuff so much.
Yeah. Like, they based off a bunch of, like, different horror movie icons on, like, real-life stories. Like, I forgot.
I know Leatherface is based on...
Leatherface, yeah.
Yeah, but obviously that's also very embellished, but apparently there was some kind of a crazy chainsaw murder in Texas. But that's besides the point, though. I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
No, I was just going to say who the guy was. I forgot his name, though.
Yeah.
But he basically just wore human skin.
Yeah, that's...
And he never went into his mom's room, even though she was dead.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that certainly happened before. I've seen stories like that in the news.
Yeah.
But no, it's interesting because this game, on the one hand, it's based on a well-known horror movie franchise, so people might not take, the killing aspect of it so seriously. But on the other hand, it is a game where at its core, it's about, scaring the crap out of people and killing them, computer-generated people, but still, it's like, So, I don't know. I think they're going to break new ground with this. It's worth taking a look at, but, I'm kind of interested in seeing how society is going to react to it.
They're going to say that it's going to spark a lot of violence.
Islands?
Violence.
I'm like, islands?
It's going to create landmarks in the water.
Yes, that makes total sense.
Video games have that capability.
Indeed. Yes, I've gone.
Oh, Nigel, did you hear by any chance that man who said that if you put down Pokemon Go, you will get amazing trickshot abilities?
Oh, yes, indeed. In fact, I have already acquired said abilities.
My abilities have not yet kicked in. I think I need to smoke some cannabis before I do that.
Perhaps.
That'll probably speed up the process.
Indeed, yeah. I don't know what that was, folks.
Oh, my God.
Anyway... Friday the 13th, it's still being developed, but it looks interesting.
Yeah, I was always wondering when we were going to get a game from the bad guy's point of view.
Yeah, I know. That's true. That you see, that's what I guess what I was trying to get at, the fact that this is the first,
groundbreaking.
horror game where, you're the murderer, basically.
I thought when you said groundbreaking, I thought it was like movie to video game instead of video game to movie.
No, because it's always been that way. That's not groundbreaking.
I know. I thought that's what you meant, because no one's ever made like a video game based on like one of these big horror movies.
Yes,
which
one? This is not the first time Friday the 13th has been a game, dude.
Which one,
dude? This is before your time, but it came out of the Nintendo Entertainment System.
That's probably why I don't know about it.
Yeah, no, it was.
Was it even popular?
Well, it was a famous game, but it became more famous because it was bad.
That's why I never knew about it too. Because I used to play on like really old Nintendo consoles because my uncle had them.
Right.
And then I lived with my uncle for a long time too. So like I would play on his old Nintendo consoles, and he had a crap ton of games. But like maybe that's why I never heard of it.
Yeah. No, well, you're saying that he just didn't happen to have that game. I guess
he had a bunch, but he never let me play. Like there was a little box that he said that I could not play because they were like.
Too old, or
they were not? He said I had to be older to play them.
Oh well, maybe because they were goddamn hard. Those games are really fucking hard. Old Nintendo games are hard. Well, you see,
Mario was fucking hard.
Well, yeah. Well, this Friday the 13th game was hard, but I think in this game, you were not Jason. You were trying to get away from Jason. And you were a camper, and it's like, it was weird. I remember there was these side-scrolling parts. You're just walking and you see a lake in the background and the cabins. Mm-hmm. You can go into the cabins, and I don't know, honestly, I don't know where I think you're trying to leave the camp. I can't remember exactly. I think my friends rented it at one point and we played it for a day. I just played it that one time. Mm-hmm. But I remember sometimes you could walk into some random cabin and then it would switch to I guess it's like you walked into the cabin and you saw like a head-on perspective of the inside of the cabin, and sometimes Jason would just be in there.
Holy shit.
He would just be there, and then you knew you just had to run out. But I remember the game being really hard.
This movie, Friday the 13th, is this the movie that has that one scene where like the campers are having sex?
It always has those scenes. There's sequels. There's like,
yeah, I know there's sequels.
There's like more than 10 of these movies out there.
Yeah, but you know how there's one movie that has this iconic one, like everyone knows about this.
Well, there's one I think where he kills a couple because they're like doing it on the bed, and then he like just plunges the machete through them, and you just see it come out of the bottom of the bed with the blood. Mm. So I don't know if that's the scene you're talking about. I'm pretty sure. I don't even know which one of the movies that was, but I remember seeing that.
Do you think that'll be in the game though? Like,
I mean, I think you could probably do that in the game. I don't know for a fact, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
I just realized this question made me sound like a perv.
A perv and maybe slightly a psychopath as well.
Probably, yes.
But I'm just interested in this game as like, is this new kind of game? I don't know how I feel about it because I have to play it to know, but because I'm just more used to regular horror games where
you run away from the killer.
Exactly.
But I'm actually really excited for this one because like I've always thought like about how would it look like a game designed to like make you the killer. Like, would that bring out stuff in you that you didn't know you had?
Well, in a way there's already a game like that, but it didn't get very big because it was very controversial for that reason. Mm-hmm. But that game didn't have a movie license attached to it. There's a game that's called, oh gosh, it was on Steam. And it's literally about a guy that just goes crazy and wants to kill people in his neighborhood. And it's like a 3/4 overhead perspective. Mm-hmm. What is it called? I think it's called Hatred.
Hatred?
It's like, it's got it's like a one-word title that's, like a shocking word like that. Mm. And I think it's called Hatred. But it's on Steam. And again, you just play literally a mass murderer. This guy could be like, like one of the Columbine killers, but you just walk out of your house and the point of the game is to go into other people's houses and shoot them, or people on the street and shoot them. That's literally all you do.
That's all you do.
And it got really bad reviews. Apparently it's a crappy game. But that's what it's about, and to me, that I find that disturbing, because that's all this is about. Somehow the fact that this is based on the movies Friday the 13th, which is they're kind of B-movie horror and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess it's not as bad because it has this movie license that everybody knows is like cheesy horror. Mm-hmm. So it makes it okay in a way. But if you think about it, they're about the same thing. Now this game though, it looks like it's going to be much better than the game Hatred. But I don't know. I just think it's interesting how, these games are coming out that are about, the point is to kill other people.
Yeah.
But I do think it's worth mentioning that again, one has a movie license and there's, fear points and like, and again, it's based on Jason. I mean, everybody knows Jason, Friday the 13th, but here's this other one about this, maniac that wants to kill people, which I think is, Jason is still a maniac. I'm not saying he's not, but it's somehow different. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Yeah, you're making sense.
Yeah.
I don't know about the people at home, but I mean, I understand.
Yeah, but anyway, I guess I just want to say, these games exist. This is the world we live in. Wow, crazy stuff.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's like the word to sum it up. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, no, but if you think about it, 30 years ago, the kind of games people were playing. Pokemon. Totally different. Dude, there was a game that was released in, 1980? Might have been 79 that was called Death Race. And this is a game with like Atari graphics, little blocky cars. It was like an overhead view of like a race. And it had, you had to run people over in the game. And when you did, like a little skull and crossbones icon that, again, super pixelated, appeared on the screen. People thought that game was controversial. There was an uproar about this game because, again, there's this idea, games are for kids and we're having them kill people in the games. And, that was messed up, back then for people. Yeah. So, yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like I said this a lot. I've said this a lot throughout my life, but I feel like we could be mature enough to know that some of these games are for adults. Yeah. But at the same time, I know that we're not going to be, because there's still going to be a lot of little kids playing all these other games.
Dude, so many kids in elementary school I know for a fact have played Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
I mean, they have no business playing this. I mean, I was at the game store the other day, and I heard some kid who could not have been older than 8. And he was asking the guy if they had Far Cry Primal. This is the game with, like, topless cave women, murdering people with clubs and I mean, it's Far Cry in prehistoric times. That's what it is. I mean, it's an awesome game, but an 8-year-old has no business playing that,
Yeah.
I mean, literally, the game has topless women because it's in context. I mean, it makes sense because they're cave women, they're in these tribes, and it tries to go for authenticity.
Yeah.
And again, it's very bloody. And, at some point you have to, like, drink this potion that's made out of, like, human blood or...
Holy fuck.
I mean, it's messed up. You do crazy things in this game, which makes sense in the context of the game. Yeah. But an 8-year-old playing this? Really?
Yeah. I mean, for me, like I've said really random things on this podcast. But for me, like, I don't really have a problem if a video game's too bloody.
No, neither do I. It's
I mean, for kids.
Oh,
like, I don't mind if like, my brother, when he was 7, he would always see me playing these games that were, like, super bloody. But, like, when it gets sexual, like, showing bits, that's the thing where it's like, okay, this is a little too far.
I'm inclined to agree. I mean, when I was a kid, I played a lot of Mortal Kombat. I might have been a little older, though. I mean, when
that's one of the games out, that, like...
I played a lot of Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. I must have been maybe 11 or 12-ish at the time. And I played those games. I went to the arcade. I begged my mom to get me the game. I mean, and I got it. I mean, I loved it, but yeah, it's like somehow the blood thing, it's less shocking to most people than, to have sex. Yeah. And I know that there's some people out there, because I've heard the comments made before by some people who think that that's kind of, like there's some kind of a bias, or that, it's kind of like double think, when, blood should be just as bad, if not worse than the sex, because sex is, in their view, well, obviously it's natural. Yeah. But the point is that I don't know why the idea of, kids seeing sex freaks me out more than the blood.
Yeah, no, me too. I feel like, the sex is a little bit, it's like, I think 2 levels above just seeing people bleed. Yeah. Because, like, I mean, on a regular basis, you could go out and, like, maybe somebody gets a nosebleed.
Yeah, so it's something that you see out there more commonly.
Yeah, you can see it in the real world. If someone, like, has a wipeout on their skateboard, they're going to get up and they're going to have, like, bloody elbows maybe. Yeah. So, like, that's something that you can't keep away from your kids. But, like, the sex is, like, something that's really taboo, and it's usually behind closed doors. Yeah. Usually. Sometimes you find the oddball that's in the park. Yeah. And you have to get a restraining order. And
no. Fun times. Fun times.
Oh, man.
But anyway, I don't know. You got anything else, or do we have a takeaway?
I guess we could just leave a question of the day. Okay. So here's the question of today. Okay. Where's the weirdest place you've had sex? I'm kidding. No.
We don't care. Please don't send that in. This is not that kind of podcast.
Oh my god. No, I had a question. What are your guys' opinions on the whole Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter debates going on today? You've heard our sides of it, I guess, like some of what we think about it. Mm-hmm. And then what do you guys think about idiot people playing video games that are super incredible for everyone else?
Yeah. Yeah, we'd love to hear what you think about that. And if you're playing those video games. And if you yourself are an idiot, perhaps that would be interesting to know.
Yes, it would be.
No, I'm just messing. But seriously, let us know what you think about all this stuff that's going on. We would appreciate all that feedback.
Yeah, I mean, it's the world we live in today. I mean, it's sad to say for some of it, but I mean, Pokemon, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's become a bigger phenomenon than it was already.
Yeah, I mean, I played Pokemon my whole life, all through high school, and it would always be one of those things where, like, you're too old for Pokemon. Pokemon Go comes out, now everybody wants to play Pokemon.
Dude, people older than I am are, like, so into it now.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
And I always got made fun of for it because I was some, like, 18-year-old playing Pokemon on my Game Boy. And it's like, okay, chill out. Now you got it on your phone.
That's, like, pretty much the standard. I mean... You know, I think there's more, you know, people over 18 that play it than younger than.
Yeah, but everyone would always make fun of, like, all those older people playing Pokemon.
Well, you know, those old attitudes, you know, against video games are, you know, they persist, I think. Yeah, but they're becoming less and less, I guess, apparent out in society, but they're still there. So that's what you're getting there.
Yeah.
But
anyway, you guys, if you guys enjoyed the podcast, please let us know. We have fun making them, and we would have a lot more fun if you guys would let us know that you actually enjoy listening to them. If you want to keep up with us on any of our social media, we will try to link them down below. And if you want to see any of our videos with our faces in them playing games that we have no clue what we're doing in, our YouTube channels will also be in the link below. If you want to see us play games at the same time, you could check out our YouTube page, which is No Way Seaway.
Do we have it spelled out? And we're not using the NWSG thing, or
well, on the channel it's No Way Seaway.
Okay.
The second way isn't WAY, just so you know.
You need to spell it out for people.
Yeah, it's GUEY, and the U has the two little dots on the top.
Right.
Well, what are those things called?
It depends on the language.
In English, what are they called?
Well, I think we just use the French term, which is the trema.
Maybe, I guess.
Because I don't know. I'm not sure there's an official term because we don't have it in our language. But in French, that's the trema. Spanish, it's the irises. So that's getting a little too technical here.
Yeah. So just look us up. You'll find us. I guess that's it.
All right.
All right, you guys.
I'm Ralph.
I'm Abraham.
And we're No Way Seaway.
Bye.
Laters.